Hey guys, we're here for another episode of American Coin and Currency. Today we will be focusing on safeguards around scammer tactics and collecting. This is our cracking the code episode, so we're going to be focusing on educating our audience on how to protect yourself. Today we're here with myself, Dustin Lee, host, social media at American Coin Currency. Of course, we have our founder and CEO, John Mady. How's it going?
It's going great, Dustin. How are you today?
Oh, it's fantastic. Seeing the prices and the metals and prices, numismatics, and a lot of new faces are getting in the industry, and it's exciting to see where we're at here at this point.
I agree. Today's a great day already. I mean, every day is a great day, but today in particular, I see that gold, the precious metals, gold, silver, platinum, palladium. Platinum's actually up. It's the only one green on the board, but that's to be expected. I mean, we've gone up, geez, in 3 days. Oh, now with today only 22, but for the week, we're up almost 3% on gold. So there's going to be a little pullback. And yeah, but I'm excited about today's topic because it's something near and dear to my heart. It's something I hear quite often from customers that they've been burned. So, I hear horror stories. I mean, I'm going to go into some of the things that I've experienced or that I've heard. And you might, I think our listeners might be a little shocked about the things that go on out there. And so, having this discussion today is, like I said, it's very important to me. It's near and dear to my heart because, uh, I just it's horrible way that people do business like that. But also, anytime that someone gets screwed over, gets ripped off by either an online dealer or just a dealer over the phone, that's one less customer for the industry. That's one less customer for us to try to build a real valuable portfolio of coins and metals. And once you're burned, you're less apt to do business with other dealers because I end up dealers that are reputable like myself end up wearing the black eye for what someone else did. And so if we can thwart these people in some way, let's do it.
Yeah, 100%. You want to definitely educate people to see these little, pitfalls that may, affect, a major, buyer or somebody that's interested getting in the industry that may not know these things, and that could make it so they don't even want to be in the industry or not be able to connect with you. And yeah, exactly. It's like a having to kind of fix the previous sellers, issues that have been put onto these buyers, and they might have like a bad, rap from others, but it takes education and understanding, from experts such as yourself to really see, how to
Or
avoid these scams. And yeah,
yep, yeah.
exciting.
So
So
go ahead, please.
I was gonna say, yeah, a little intro myself. I've been collecting coins, stamps previously. I've like spoons from my grandparents, um, paper money, and Pokemon cards as well. Been on eBay since 1999. Um, Keen about the precious metals and numismatic industry for quite a bit of time, but you know, but yeah. So I'm here with John, working with them in the social media aspect. And John, if you want to give yourself a little intro here.
Absolutely. My name is John Mady. I'm the CEO and founder of American Coin and Currency. And I've been in this business for many, many years, professionally for going on 15 years now. But I've been collecting since I was a kid. I collect all kinds of things, but coins have always I've had a fascination with them, and especially the historical aspect of them. So yeah, we're here to educate. We're here to uh, just try to show our people who are listening, customers, the right way, the wrong way to engage in this industry with dealers, what to look for, what not to look for, and that's we're gonna have a great discussion today. So thank you.
Yeah, fantastic discussion. And it's always good to educate those who are unaware. But yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, just to give you guys a little oversight, we're gonna be stepping into like how scams work when it comes to like on over the phone or selling fake project or products that are malicious malicious actors or they're playing the part as an expert or so we want to make sure that you guys know these step by step on how scammers are operating and some real world examples and some major events that happen with scammers. So, but yeah, let's get into it. So, let's get into like how like random calls and voicemails, like how are they like, getting people to answer the phone or commit to these scams.
Okay. Um, for a lot of dealers, using the telephone is the primary source, primary way for them to engage with potential customers and then convert them into actual clients. So, luckily, and that in the last 10 years, 15 years, the government has implemented certain things. Do not call list is one, which you still get calls, unfortunately, but you should, anyone who's listening who's not on the do not call list and doesn't want calls, put your number up there. It does help. It does. Uh, but back in the day, I mean, listen, I've been doing telephone sales, and of course, a lot of in person, but telephone sales since the '90s, mid '90s. So I've seen, just how much it's changed. Back then, we used to just call. There was no do not call list. You could call anyone's home. I don't even think there was really written in stone. Like nowadays, you can only call from, I believe it's 8 a.m. to, or no, I'm sorry, 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning to I believe it's 8 o'clock at night, 7, 8 o'clock at night. So we have a dialer system that will not call certain areas during certain times. But back in the early days, I mean, it was not like that. So um, it was a great way to bring new customers into the fold, in conjunction with regular marketing techniques and actions. Um, but it's always been a really reliable way for not only deal what I do, but for we've all received phone calls for everything under the sun, people selling us. So just putting that out there, like, and framing it like that to just kind of give an example of you know, when you're sitting at home and you receive a phone call, no reason to be rude. Just listen. If it's not something you want, thank you. Have a good day. What I've experienced is a lot of people unnecessarily stay on the phone with the person that's calling them, the business that's calling them, because they don't want to be rude. And I get that. I do the same thing. Um, but if you're on the phone, you receive a phone call from XYZ, coin dealer, let's say, based out of Long Island, New York, and I'm just saying Long Island, New York. But there are a lot of coin dealers in that area. There's a big cluster of them. Uh, and once you feel pressure coming, that's a sign, right? It's a flag. Like, you shouldn't be pressured. Now, there is something that I've used and I've said many times in the past, because sometimes when I call my salespeople here, call their customers, we get very excited over certain products. So, the hype, or, just the way that we're coming across as excitement. And something I've always said is, please don't misconstrue my enthusiasm for pressure. It's not what I'm trying to convey here. And that's the truth. But you will get some people, some dealers, callers that are just pressure, pressure, pressure. And unfortunately, those that does work a lot of times, if they get the right person on the phone who wants to be kind, doesn't want to hang up on someone. And that's when you get into these horror stories that we're going to get into, of people that just buy stuff they shouldn't buy. Uh, and just one thing after another. So it all starts with the phone call or with the mail. So you might get something in the mail, a deal that's too good to be true. And that's the old saying, right, Dustin? If it's too good to be true. It probably is, right? But it's hard for us as humans um, to not fall victim to this because everyone wants that score, that get rich quick thing, that I'm going to turn $1 into $3 type scenario, and it's really alluring, and it always has been. Um, I was just watching an episode, a story which I've known about that South Seas, which was in Britain back in the 1700s, where they actually took the debt of the government and sold shares in that debt, but the shares were supposedly you're going to be getting the plunder that will be coming in from at that time, which is now South America, but in particular Brazil, and I don't even think it was named Brazil at that time. It
Mm.
was this mania that took over England, and I mean, even Isaac Newton, he fell into that FOMO frenzy, made some money, got out. This is Isaac Newton, right? Probably one of the smartest people who ever lived.
It's
He
crazy.
made money, he sold, made a big profit, but that South Sea stock kept going up and up. So what did he do? Instead of being content with his profit, he got greedy.
Oh,
There's a saying, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. He was a hog. He jumped back in with even more money and he lost all of it. And he just got crushed. And he was just one of many, many people. So that fear of missing out is just so powerful. And so when you get that call, you get something in the mail. And nowadays I see it on my phone all the time. I fell victim very recently. I don't want to say fell victim, but I was duped very recently. Some ads that they were selling 10th ounce gold rounds for, it was under spot. And I was like, let me just test it. I'll buy two. And so I did it through PayPal. So I knew I'd get my money back if it didn't work. And of course, it was just, I never got anything. So I ended up getting my money back. But even when I was looking at that, I was saying to myself, this is too good to be true. But I did it as a test, just to see if it was real, and it wasn't. So, yeah, if you're gonna get calls, if you're gonna see things on the internet, if you're gonna see things in the mail that are just too good to be true, they are. Um, uh, Huge profits, promises of big profits, guarantees of any kind. No one can guarantee anything. I can guarantee you death and taxes. Other than that, I can't really guarantee you much. So that's pretty much at least where I want to start with this, is that when you see things that are too good to be true, they are, and it just take a minute to just sit back and maybe do a little thinking, some due diligence. What's nice nowadays, Dustin, as opposed to when I first started in my careers,
mm,
um, back in the mid 90s, getting on the phone and selling, is that nowadays information it's everywhere. It's on your phone, your computer. We have the internet. Back then, you didn't have that. So
true.
there's kind of no reason now. I'm sorry for people to fall victim, but they do, and I get it. I have many stories where I've fallen victim to scams. But I just want to start at least with that point part, and then we're going to delve a little bit deeper into these muddy waters. Um, but I just want to see if you had any questions or wanted to add anything at this point.
Yeah. So I wanted to add is, you mentioned the internet. People can, reference check like verifiable links and socials or websites. So, it does, add a lot of like security, when it comes to like recognizing dealers or websites or, being able to, reference check like where's their supply, who is the ones offering this, those things can really just immediately, fix the concerns. It either is or not. If this number matches, this address matches social links, accounts, profiles, and whatnot. So that to me is huge. And then recently, through my eBay, I had somebody offer me two of the Sacagawea, the purchase two of the Sacagaweas, and was like, "Oh, wow, this is great," it's like, $9,000 or something like that. But then I look at the account, they have little interaction, and then I
Just
looked at
created.
yeah, and then I looked at the reference, and their previous purchases were basically them scamming. So I was like, okay, well, clearly somebody's notified that this guy has been trying to scam others, purchasing things over the market value, or offering you know such a value that just didn't seem right.
Yeah,
Especially when it's buying both of them for the same price when they offered. I would assume they would offer less. Purchasing two, that's I would most likely do myself if I were purchasing. I'd be like, hey, give me like a 5% discount, or like $100 off on both if I'm purchasing both. So I was like, this is not real. So being
yep,
able to kind of see that, like, reference, like, what is their history with, like, seller purchasing, or whatever their history on eBay, or it's easy to find these things. Keywords, that's why I use keywords. There's a lot of little things you can do with the internet nowadays. But yeah, like you said before, it was just like, if you're lucky, if you have a sharp mind, if you're keen to seeing these, scamming, then you'd be, pretty well off. But yeah, it's hard. It's harder back in the '90s when there's people just call you all the time. And telemarketing was just like crazy. Like, there was no like set ground rules or boundaries for like legal parameters, and yeah,
no caller ID, none of
caller
that.
ID. Yeah, no, you were.
No one had cell phones except the big bricks, like you see in Wall Street. Gordon Gekko's on the
Yeah,
beach with that big brick.
Nextel. Yeah, huge phones and the car phones. Yeah, I remember. But yeah, let's get into it. I know we touched a little bit here about more of like the phone scams and some of the like internet scams.
Sure.
It's like, pushing credit cards and wire transfers and stuff like that. It was like,
Yep.
Western Union, MoneyGram, or written
Yeah.
invoices. But let's get into like the real stories. So I know there's some. I'm sure you've come across plenty. You mentioned a little bit there, but like, what are some like some lessons, and kind of like the
Sure.
pitfalls? Like, if someone overpaid something that was fake, like a shipwreck treasure, or like, I don't know, someone represented like U.S. Mint, or something like that, or like an elderly, you know, investment opportunity, or something. Like, what are some of like the real world stories that you've come across?
Sure. Sure. Well, we'll get to those real world stories. First, I'm going to get into a couple things, a couple more red flags.
Oh, sure.
um, let's say you get a call, or you get an email, you get something on your phone, and it looks great, and you're interested in it. Um, any company, especially on the phone, who represents themselves as a dealer, uh, if they can only process a check, like, let's say your purchase is $10,000, which with rare coins, that's probably like, it's not a lot, it's not a little, but it's right around, an average amount. So $10,000 order you're going to do with this company that you just bought something small from, right? Let's say that you bought a roll of Franklin's from them for, whatever, a few $100s. You get your delivery. Um, then you get a call back. Oh, you see, you got your coins. We're legitimate. We're real. Obviously, we do what we say. You got your product.
Mhm.
Then they sell you. The next call is something much larger. Now we have this really amazing opportunity, and I'm going to stick with rolls, Dustin, because a lot of these scammers and they deal in rolls. Rolls of uh, like this, like 20 Morgans or
Mhm.
20 piece dollars, things like that. So they'll call you. Now we have this amazing opportunity. You bought the 1963 roll, and now we can get you from 1948 when they first started the Franklins up onto 1962 because you already had the 63. That's going to be 20. That'll be, let's say, 10,000. We'll keep it with that. But
Okay.
you can't use a credit card, Mr. Dustin, Mr. Lee. You can only use, we take check by phone or wire. Right there.
Ah,
That's a
I
red
see.
flag. And the reason being is that in this industry, in the rare coin business, getting a merchant service account to process credit cards is very difficult because
Mm.
it's considered high risk because of possible chargebacks. And
Uh-huh.
the last thing that the credit card company wants, the merchant service, are chargebacks because it looks bad, and they're worried that they might get a ton of chargebacks, and there might not be enough money in the account to cover those chargebacks. So that's why they really are strict. They're really you got to jump through hoops to get your merchant service account. We have two of them that we've had for many years. We process millions of dollars in credit card transactions. So they can't get a credit card processor because they just don't have the either they're going to have to put down a huge deposit, which stays in a separate account to offset any chargebacks. So instead of going through these hoops of trying to get a merchant, they're just going to take checks or wires. Stay away. If you can't process a credit card, I process credit cards for $30,000, $40,000 in a regular basis. So it's not the dollar amount, um, it's because they can't get that service. Also, when they, I'm gonna again stick with rolls because in my experience in this business, the companies that sell rolls are, I sell rolls, right? I do sell rolls, but that's a fraction, literally a fraction of a percent of our overall business is rolls. And normally it's just by request. But there's companies that only sell rolls because there's a built-in hook with selling these rolls. And the hook is, we're going to go with peace dollars because I have a story. I don't want to say a great story because it's not a good story. Uh, but I think our listeners might like it. I call you up, Dustin. Okay, you agree to buy a roll of 1923 peace dollars. That's 20 coins. And I'm going to charge you. I'm going to say they're BU, brilliant uncirculated condition or better. So BU, technically, there's brilliant circulated, there's choice uncirculated, and then there's gem BU. So regular BU, when graded, should grade out around a 63 to 64. Okay, so they're going to call, all right, these 1923 roll BU, beautiful condition, blah, 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 blah. Going to give you a good price. So you buy it for $1,200 and you get delivery. Now they're going to call you back up and they're going to say, what we need to do, Mr. Lee, is the value here and what's going to benefit you the most, Mr. Lee, is not just buying this one roll, but getting the entire series from 1921 all the way to 1928 with the different mint marks in between. That works out to, there's each year has, a couple of different mints that produced them as well. So in one year, you might have a Philly, a San Francisco, and a I want to say Denver. So it works out to a lot of rolls. And the hook is that it's the promise of huge returns once you fulfill this task.
Mhm.
Now, this task might take, depending on your means, it might be quick, it might take a little longer, but once you're in about halfway with the years, and you might be like, oh, I don't have the money for this, I don't see the value. Well, Mr. Lee, we're halfway there. We have to get to the finish line. We have to get the rest of these years. You're only missing this and that, but this one is a really expensive year, so I'm going to get you the 1921 high relief roll, which I'm only going to charge you 20,000. But each one of these coins, being that they're BU, if you send them into the grader, they're going to grade out 63, 64. That one coin alone is worth a few $1,000s. Oh, wow. Really? That sounds great. Okay. You buy them. And now what the hook even further is, once this set is complete, we have buyers lined up to purchase your complete collection, but they're not going to purchase a non-complete collection. So you have to complete this set, and then we'll have the buyer ready to purchase you're set and you're going to make all this money. You're going to be, super. You're going to just score. The buyer doesn't exist. That's just made up. Uh, that you complete the set, and now when you call, oh well, the market is looking shaky right now. It's not a good time to sell. These kinds of things. Well, you told me that once I completed this, I could sell and make all this money. Oh yeah, but now we will do that. We're going to do that, but right now the market's soft. If you sold, you take a loss. Like we, a million different excuses on why you can't or shouldn't sell. And this is with Morgans. It's with Peace Dollars. I've seen it with Franklin's. They don't do it with Kennedy's because Kennedy's are 1964, the only silvers. So I have a customer who spent almost $500,000 on rolls
Whoa.
of Peace Dollars
Yes.
because he was promised that these were BU. And if they were genuinely BU and we could have had every one of them graded, he would have made money because those 1921 high reliefs in 64, 63, 64 grade are thousands of dollars. They're so desirable. But he told me this story and I was like, okay, well, let me see what you have. He mailed me a few rolls. Well, actually a couple coins from each roll. I sent them
Okay.
in. As soon as I saw them, Dustin, I knew. I was like, no, these
They
aren't
were.
BU. Not even
Uh,
close. They look cleaned. Like they literally, this place
oh
is
yeah,
where
we
they have
talked about
tanks
this.
and
Yeah.
they clean coins. It's like an assembly line cleaning coins.
Oh,
So we sent them in, and the coins were almost all cleaned. A couple graded, but they were in the like AU, about uncirculated, almost uncirculated. Um, AU 50, AU 55. They were so far away from that Gem BU or BU, 63, 64. And
oh,
yeah, so like he didn't know what to do, and I felt bad for him. And again, this goes back to what I said in the beginning. This gentleman, he's in Oregon, very wealthy, loves coins, but he literally spent almost a $500,000 for about $100,000 worth of material.
ugh,
And I was frank with him, and I told him this is how it is. And because of that, he was like, "Listen, I can't buy coins anymore. Like this affects me." I get that, right? But that's now one less good customer out there who's going to, purchase
yeah,
from reputable dealers. So I'm wearing a black eye for what some scumbags did. So, long story short, like I did help him out, and I helped him get some relief. We got some agencies involved and lawyers, and so at the end of the day, he was not made even close to whole. But you know what? He trusts me, and he does business with me, even though that happened, because he knows that I'm looking out for his best interest, which I am. And so that story again, and there's a lot just like that. But as far as um, again, there's nothing wrong with collecting and investing in rolls. Just if you're buying rolls, make sure you bring those to a local coin dealer in your town, someone who knows who can look at them before you go, neck deep in this. Just make sure because I mean this stuff happens all the time. I was watching CNBC, which is financial news, not too long ago. It was on a holiday. I have it on my office, and they normally have that show, something greed. I can't think of the name of it, but they have all
ooh,
these different um,
yeah, I've seen it.
shows about people that were very greedy, ripped people off, and in the end got caught. And
Oof.
I was just so happens there was this company down in I'm in South Florida. I'm in Palm Beach. A company down, I think, in like Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. And that's what they did. They moved from New York. They got caught up there. They fled. They came down here. They opened up shop down there and they started doing the same thing. And they were selling Franklin rolls and trying to, get people on that first cheap roll, the 1963, and then getting those hooks in. Oh, no, listen, you want to make money, right? Well, we need to get the complete set for you. And so, yeah, that's what they did. And it happens often. So I just want our listeners, just, buyer beware. Nothing wrong with collecting rolls. I love rolls, but you shouldn't pay 5 times what they're actually worth. That's just not right. And there's others. We're going to get into some other things I've seen that I think will just knock your socks off. But at least want to start with rolls as a big red flag. If you're going to get in rolls, really know what you're doing. You're better off just buying graded coins through PCGS or NGC because that grade is the grade. There's no changing it. Um, so yeah, that's at least my first story and red flags on silver, rolls.
Mm. Yeah, we covered roles a little bit before,
Yeah,
and I feel like so they do is they put like some of the role like on the roles like on the in the middle would be like something that isn't good, or like on the outside like the first few coins it's like okay these ones are
yeah,
the
yeah.
higher graded ones. Um, and then like the reputable aspect, like eBay, is it Amazon, or just going to your local bank. I know a lot of people the last several years have been going to banks and asking for rolls directly. I think that's kind of like saturated at this point. I would think.
I
You
would think
know,
so.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
less.
I advise customers all the time, go on eBay, go to sold listings. Don't just look at listings because you can list
Oh,
something for anything. That doesn't matter. It's what someone's
right.
willing to pay. So go to sold listings, type in a 1922 piece dollar roll in a BU condition, and there'll be listings, and that's sold, and that's what right around you should be buying them for. Um,
That's
yeah.
good.
So another thing that I've seen in my experience is these really slick characters. They ingratiate themselves. They look with older people, so they're predators. They are predators. Um, they have no conscience. They will steal from their mother. Doesn't matter. So what they'll
Jeez.
do, they will ingratiate themselves with someone over the phone. Let's say, Dustin, that you're a 82-year-old man. You did well in life, but you don't have any kids. Your wife is dead. You're by yourself, basically, and you're lonely, right? And then, but you like coins. You like collecting, all that stuff. Then you get some guy who calls you, and he's just like really just high energy, happy, talks to you, is interested in you, and those phone calls continue. Not necessarily selling you, talking to you,
Oh,
moving in slowly, right? Becoming your friend.
oof.
Once they do that, they find out, of course, the first call will be, oh, this is very important, people. So please listen to this. Um, that first call, if they are asking all kinds of questions about your assets, oh, how much do you, and it'll sound like just like conversational, but they're doing it for a purpose. Oh yeah, hey, Mr. Lee, how much are you working with in the stock market? Oh, great. Do you have any good recommendations? I always lose in the stock. Oh, okay, good. How much do you have in bonds? What else? Any real estate? What else do you have? So they're going to find out what kind of money you're working. If someone asks me that the first time I speak with them on the phone, guess what? I'm hanging up. Goodbye. It's no one's business. Um, so they are qualifying from the first phone call to see if it's worth their time to ingratiate themselves with you, to become your fake friend. So I know of a gentleman who this happened to him. He had numerous conversations, but on that first conversation, he said, "Yeah, I have, I don't know, I have a couple $100,000 in gold coins, some other stuff, a couple million in the stock market, this and that." So after about a month, and this time is different with everyone, I would assume, but let's say after a month, oh, you know what? I'm going to be in your area because I'm buying from numerous customers that live in your area. Why don't I swing by and I'll purchase your coins? Oh, okay. Or we can consign them. But I want to meet face to face with you, Mr. Lee. We've only spoken on the phone. You sound like such a great guy. I can't wait to meet you. Here's some lonely old guy or widow, a woman. Same thing. They're just lonely. They don't have kids, no family, you know, and they enjoy the conversation. They've come to trust that person. They think they're looking out for their best interest, that person
Right.
is their friend, but that person is literally a sheep in wolf's sheep in wolf's clothing. Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Over
I got
sheep's
him.
clothing. Yeah,
Yeah, wolf in sheep's clothing. So they will, at some point, under the guise of, I'm in your area dealing with some other customers. Why don't I swing by? So they'll swing by the house, literally meet with you face to face, have business cards, maybe even have a check to buy some of your coins. Mr.
Uh,
Lee, you have a lot of money here. You probably have $250,000 in graded gold coins or raw or whatever. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to write you a check for $50,000 today, but I'll take the rest of it with me and we can consign it for you. So you
oh,
don't have to mail it to me. This person trusts that guy. Okay,
right.
you gave me a check for 50. Yeah, I have your business card. This must be legitimate, you know? And then that person walks out the front door and disappears like a fart in the wind. And that happens often. And that is
Jeez.
just evil,
Oh,
evil. So I had a customer that happened to. Um, I've had more than one, but this is one that really stuck out in my head because this guy, he needed that money. Like he was trying to sell his coins because he needed it. I think he was having a medical procedure coming up, and he just didn't have money. Liquid. So
yeah.
his assets were mostly in his coins, and this person came and took all of his stuff. And there's no, who do you go to? Your local police are going to be saying that's a civil issue. Like what can we do? You
Oh,
don't know who that person is. It's all, you know. So that's one of the scarier things that actually happens quite often as well. These people are brazen. They have no emotions about about stealing from you, which is just scary. Uh, So that's another thing that I would advise people to watch out for, or tell if you know that your parents are buying coins over the phone, or through the mail. You know, just be aware of these things. Be aware of what they're doing, how much money they're spending, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a big one right there, Dustin, that people should watch out for.
yeah, preying on, like
Really.
individuals that don't have families or are lonely and they're trying to find a way to connect with somebody. And they have all these assets, and yeah, it's an easy way to be scammed. Yeah, and fall victim to somebody that's seems like they have the best interest in looking out for
Yeah.
you. Yeah, I could see that very easily happening. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, and some of these people I've unfortunately in my many years in this business, I've come across some of these people not, and just I've heard stories and I was just like, "Oh my god, that's how do you
Mm,
live like that?" I mean, I believe in karma.
yeah.
So, that's just you're walking around with like literally like a piano on a rope over your head just anytime that thing's going to fall on your head. Another thing well, go ahead, before I continue, if you see if you have
Oh no,
anything.
no, that was pretty much it. Yeah, I just seeing like families or or somebody or just like someone's grandma or like uh, they fall victim, or yeah, it's just unfortunate like seeing that. Like I've heard many stories too, like where people have like ripped them off for some idea, some fast way to make money, or yeah, like um yeah, collecting. Yeah, some I think it was like something to do with collecting. I don't know the exacts, but yeah, pretty much just like having someone come into your life and you trust them, and you bring them into your home, and you tell them like some in confidence, maybe things that they don't want to share with anybody, and they take that and they're like, okay, they're just like creating this kind of like you know blueprint, what can I do to steal from them or whatever they could do to get money out of them. And it's just crazy, just someone taking that much time to really plot that out, and like, and at the end of the day, like you're by yourself, like that's how can you do that? Like that's crazy. Why wouldn't you just make your own way in life? And yeah, it's not fast money, but whatever. Like at least you can go
Yeah,
to bed knowing that you did something right, not someone that you're trying to victimize because you want some fast money from someone. That's crazy. But
yeah, and could you imagine that these people, if they did 1 or 2 of those a month,
That's insane, like, hundreds of thousands or even millions, you know,
mil I'm sure there's been
and
people millions, no doubt.
and that's a civil case? Like, at that point, like, 1,000,000? Like,
I've heard many customers say I would say almost not I don't wanna say almost all, but many of our customers at some point have been scammed by some dealer in the country, um, which is just unfortunate, you know? The other thing, I've heard of are obituary hunters. You ever hear that?
oh, yeah, yeah, they're using yeah, what is
So
that?
they'll go through and they'll see, they'll go through the obituaries and, they'll look for widows
Oh, okay, I see.
and that have passed away, and there was a way, I guess, that they could kinda get a feel for if this person, like, what they did for work, if they made a lot, because they
Oh,
normally see in the obituary what they did,
that
"Oh, this
makes
guy was a
sense.
doctor for 50 years or 40 years, and, he liked
Uh-huh.
this." They'll call, not knowing this is just totally, throwing darts at a wall, but if one sticks, that it's great for them. They'll get in touch with the try to get in touch with the widow or one of the family members and say, "Oh yeah, we worked with your dad, and we're looking to buy back the coins that he purchased from us." And they get these people when they're at a really weak moment. They're vulnerable because their
Yeah,
loved one just died, and they will go in and they'll try to buy this stuff for pennies on the dollar because the people aren't thinking about that. They just want to grieve their loved one, but they also want to start getting rid of all this stuff that they know they're going to have to get rid of. So wow, how convenient! Coin dealer just called me, and my dad had all these coins, and now they want to buy them back, and you know, boom, they're not
wow,
going to look up all the prices. They don't have the time. They're dealing with all this other stuff. That's something that's not as prevalent, but I definitely have heard of this happening before.
I can see.
100%. Yeah.
Mm,
And then it's really just a matter of again, buyer beware. If it's just too good to be true, it is. So, but I mean, how do you protect someone who has no family or who's older? And a lot of these older people are trusting. How do you protect them? Uh, I don't have the answer for that. I can just offer advice on what to do prior to the point of getting scammed. I guess I don't even know who you would call because again, I've had customers that said, I called the police. They said it was a civil matter. I called the state. That went
oh,
nowhere.
that's
And at
insane.
that point, what do you do? Like, I don't know. You just it's unfortunate. It really is. But again, if I could wave a magic wand and get rid of all these scumbags, I would do it in a heartbeat because I mean it makes any dealer like myself, and there's a lot of great dealers out there that really love what we do, love providing these types of items for our customers. It just makes it an uphill battle. It makes it harder for us because people know that there's others out there ripping them off, and that goes back to when we said many times, Dustin. You can start working with a dealer. Simple thing. Go to money.org. It's the ANA website, American Numismatic Association. They do have a dealer search. It takes 2 seconds. Type in the dealer, whoever they said they were, ABC Rare Coins, and see if they're part of the ANA. And at least for me, in my opinion, if it, being we're lifetime members of the ANA. So I mean, any reputable dealer for the most part will be a member of the ANA, or like in Florida, we have FUN, Florida United Numismatists, which I'm also a lifetime member of. Uh, they'll be a part of that organization. If they're not, I would start asking questions. Why are you not a member of the ANA? Why are you not an authorized dealer of NGC or an authorized dealer of PMG? Well, there's probably a reason they're not because NGC and PCGS, they don't just bring on anybody. You have to have references, other dealers that will vouch for you. People, vendors, people that in the industry that will vouch for you, that have done business with you. That's the explanation on why they're not members of those organizations. And right there is huge red flag, smacking you in the face. But how many people know about this? How many people know to look at the ANA website?
Mm.
Unless they heard it from us, Dustin, probably not many. So,
Not many.
yeah, there we go. I mean, there's our
Yeah, we're
company.
there. We are. Yeah, we gotta update the location. But yeah, that's us.
Yeah, we recently moved. I'm gonna thank you. I need to have that updated. It's amazing when you move and you have it takes so long to get everything up to speed.
Right. Yeah, it's all directory and indexed. So yeah, you have to go in there. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and there was a point I wanted to add there, but yeah, I wanted to move into the next segment, just kind of touching on some like events and like big scams in the society. Um, this one right here,
Oh,
yeah, this one was $40 million. Or wait, this is 4.5. No, that was the refund was 4.5, but actually the estimate loss was 40 million. And
gold
so
line.
what
Okay.
Yeah, Gold Line, and similar companies use aggressive TV ads and phone sales to sell MS-69 and 70 modern bullion coin or numismatic coins. And then they were overpriced 300% above melt, um, something like that, or fair market value. Okay, so that's what it says. So yeah, essentially they were selling them way overpriced, and when
Mhm.
realistically they weren't. And then, but the restitution they had was $4.5 million. So, I mean, they made $45 million essentially, or $35 million. Like, um, yeah. So that they got away with crime essentially. It's like
Yeah.
some people
And
didn't even
I
read
don't
it.
know the situation. You know,
Right.
I don't want to talk bad about Gold Line because I don't know the ins and outs. But I mean, having to refund probably says a lot, right? You know, you have to refund 4.5.
Exactly. It's not just a simple chargeback. It's like 4.5. That's like, thinking like 5 to 10%. You're like 10% of of sales. So we're not seeing anywhere near that. No one is,
But
unless they're
yeah. It is interesting though. You said that they were overcharging for 69s and 70s and
yeah,
uh that is something that does happen. And so how if you're someone listening looking to get involved in what we do, um you might ask yourself, well, how do I know like if I'm overpaying? Or on the flip side, on as a dealer, how do I know if I'm overcharging? Um, it's not difficult. I say I use eBay. Okay, eBay is the largest coin dealer in the world. Really is. eBay is a fantastic source just for looking up prices. So we use eBay at American Coin and Currency. We use eBay as a high watermark. The pricing on eBay. So if we get some, let's say like the palladium coins that just came out, right?
right,
2025 West Point reverse proof palladiums. We'll go on to eBay. Um, at some point, I will go on to eBay and I'll look at what other dealers are listing them for. Now, what we get into are the minutia of the coins, which is this we had a conversation not too long ago about comparing apples to apples in this industry in coins.
right,
So I'll look up there and I'll see, okay, well, they have this, but they don't have it's not an advanced release, it's a first strike. So there's a variation in price there. That one is not signed. Ours is Damstra signed, and there's only 50 of them. So that's another piece of the equation. But we don't um if there's the exact same coins, and sometimes that happens on eBay, we'll always sell under eBay prices. And that protects us because if it's on eBay for X, and I'm not just saying one listing, because someone could put up a one listing as a like shill bidding, um,
ah,
but multiple
okay,
listings and get the average and then go a little under that. That's a great protection tool. Um, but again, these sources are readily available. Unfortunately, I think of my mother. She's 78. she's not going to go researching coins. Let's say someone's like, oh, called her and he didn't have a family and that has money and started buying. I think of her as like she has trouble just doing anything on her phone, right? So I understand that people might have trouble sourcing, and that's when you call a reputable dealer like myself. Call my company, American Coin and Currency. We're more than happy to price check for our customers. We do it all the time. If nothing else, we can be a sounding board for you and just an extra layer of assurance and protection. Even yesterday, I had two different people reach out to me saying, "Hey, I was offered $3,500 for this coin. You think that's a good deal? Absolutely, take it. Like, just because I don't have to buy it, I'll tell you if it's a good deal or not. If it wasn't a good deal, I would have said it wasn't a good deal. So, um, yeah, I mean, if you don't have the means to really look through and do your own due diligence, it's as simple as picking up the phone and calling American Coin, or calling it. It doesn't have to be us. It even could any reputable dealer off the ANA, give them a call and price check things, especially if you're going to spend big money. I would do it for anything, even if it's $100. But some coins are 100,000, some are 500,000 or more for one coin. Obviously, I think for the most part, people buying those types of coins have a pretty good gauge on what's what and what value is there, what the real value is, and the what they should be paying. But I've also heard of people that have bought huge huge dollar coins and still got ripped off. So only takes a phone call to us. Our number's up there. That's my cell phone number, by the way. And if I don't answer, leave a message. I will call you back. It might not be right away, but I will get back to you, and we could have a discussion on what's what in the industry. Because people should own these types of assets. Not everyone can own a house, right? Not everyone can own high end assets, but graded coins, precious metals, those are assets, and those anyone can buy. Um, so in these times of rising inflation and uncertainty, owning assets is paramount. It's imperative to protect your hard-earned dollars that they don't get eaten up through inflation.
Mm. Yeah, definitely give us a call. Check us out our socials right here. Call us our number here, as well as our website, Coin and Currency Net. Find us on YouTube, American Coin Currency, eBay, American ACC or American CC, Facebook, American Coin Currency, Instagram, American Coin Currency, and TikTok as well. Find us on those platforms. But yeah, let's cover a couple more things here before we get into the end. We're actually pretty much at the hour here. Um,
Oh wow, went fast.
yeah, so it's going super quick. Here's a couple more stories here. The boiler room.
I
Um,
haven't seen this one.
Y yeah, so
Oh
this
boy.
was the Telecoin cold callers, and coin boilers, so, it's roughly a loss of $20 million per year, which was ongoing in the 2000s, so it's like, it was significant. So the boiler rooms use telemarketing and cold call potential collectors to sell modern proof gold and silver coins at massive markups, 200% plus. Rare pieces, usually mass minted, modern, fancy labels, essentially just slapping on PCGS and NGC. They, assume that's going to be, a certain price, but obviously they pushed it further. So kind of their idea was like they're pushy with their sales scripts, the urgency, like you mentioned, kind of put pressure on people and like limited availability, having these like, kind of, FOMO aspects. And then like, uh, when it came to the sale, there's like, they weren't, answering the phone calls and, just kind of just doing everything that you shouldn't be doing. And then, a lot of misleading on like the labels and whatnot. So like you mentioned, like first day release and advance, so they don't know these things. So yeah, that was pretty bad here, but it looks like yeah, 2015 to 17 there was some. investor.
Well, Dustin, it's always fascinated me how there's certain triggers that just get us, and they get all of us, and no one is immune. And the
No,
two of the biggest in my experience is um, greed and missing out. So, like time constraints. So, I'll give what might be said is, the first part is easy, the greed, the returns. I guarantee you, Dustin, we complete this set, you're going to be looking at about 100 to $150,000 profit.
oof.
Oh wow! And I'm only investing, 150,000, and I'm going to make, I'm going to get 300,000 back.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Um, and the other one is the time. It's that fear of the missing out. So,
No.
in like, let's say, listen, we're going to sell out. I hear someone down in the hall. He's talking to a client. They're going to buy it. We need to do it right now. Say yes right now. Otherwise, it's going to be sold. That pressure of you're going to miss out. The sense of urgency. That
Mm.
is it. Greed and sense of urgency are two triggers that just get people. So you kind of have to be wary of it and hear it coming. Um, because if it's such a fantastic deal and we've never done business before, why are you calling me? I'm a nobody. Why are you calling me to sell these to me? You must have a million people to sell them to if they're so great, right?
Right.
Very few people ask that or say that. Um,
Yeah, that's true. I want to touch one more on Chinese slabs.
yeah,
So
right.
couldn't find any specific cases, but essentially, this is in the millions. Of course, these are mass produced. They're on Amazon. They're on eBay, and it's hard to tell because there's high quality photos and mislabeled. A lot of times, like when you scan the QR, it goes to another coin that is either the same or different. So these are things that to look out for is like the fake scams, validating um, appears, higher graded or, their services that they're offering or who, like mentioned earlier, like referencing, who they are, checking out their socials and whatnot. So, but this is huge on Amazon. The replicas were like, Wish or
Yeah.
Etsy or, um, so yeah, definitely go to a reputable dealer in that case. But yeah, I just wanted to mention like the Chinese scams is pretty prevalent. People they
Another
mentioned
big
it quite often. But yeah, go ahead.
Another big eBay scam that I actually fell victim to once, and it cost me about $6,000.
Oh wow.
Was item was a gold set, like a 4 coin American Gold Eagle set, was
Okay.
sold through eBay, and then later that day, I received an email saying, "Hey, I just purchased this set, but I have to leave town for an emergency. Can you please ship it to my sister at this address?" And the first time I had so many different things going on, I saw it and I was like, I just printed it out and I gave it to my shipping department. And I was like, yeah, make sure it goes to this address. I need to change it up.
Right.
Guess what? It was shipped out. And then while it was in transit, the person who ordered it called me and was like, hey, I haven't received, or reached out to eBay. I haven't received my coins yet. Did they ship? I was like, what do you mean? They did ship. No. And then I looked, I was like, ah, I've been duped. I've been scammed, and I couldn't stop the package in the middle of the USPS going out to
Uh,
deliver.
so
So
dang.
yep, it kind of stunk. So always, if you're going to be doing anything with eBay, buying whatever it might be, selling, just make sure that you only. Well, I can't even say that because now they're sending emails that look identical to the emails you get from eBay.
Yeah, the
Those
spook.
too. The
It's
spoof.
crazy. Yeah, it
Crazy.
looks from
Organized crime.
identical.
At that level, it's organized crime.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always those links. You're just like, don't click there.
Don't
Like,
click links.
Don't click links. That's number one. Whenever you do anything financially on your computer or any device, do not click a
Don't
link.
click.
Don't.
Nope.
You know, that's you're gonna fall victim to something asking for some personal information or oh yeah, this is a spoofed, bank account, access. Like, oh man, I've seen
Yeah.
those YouTubers. Yeah, they create a spoof, bank account for the scammer to think they have money, and then they scam the scammer. So I enjoy those ones, but yeah. So yeah, let's get into like the final like checklist, I guess to say, because we're running out of time here, and then we'll go to the
Sure.
audience. So just to mention like things on my side, so like coin certification, if it's been, NGC or PCGS, what's the grade, and then, verifying the dealer and the company. Of course, we mentioned the ANA. Go to the, what is that? What was the website again? Money,
Money.org.
money.org. So you can check the members. We're members on there, so you can check us out. Don't just take our word, just look us up. Just the same as anybody else. Um, does the offer make sense? Is it too good to be true? Is this like out of the blue? Why am I the one that has this deal? Why didn't you go to your friends or family or do the deal yourself? That's a big thing. And oh, the can you walk away and come back later kind of dynamic. Like, oh, if you need to do this now. You need to do this now. This is like a lifetime, one time kind of thing. The FOMO. So be sure to like, hey, if it's too good to be true, if they're putting pressure on you, why are they putting pressure on you? Who is this person?
Yeah.
And then, if you can't resell, like you mentioned, John, like, oh, they promise you, oh, you get all these collections, and you get it, and they're like, yeah, we got a buyer for you, and then you check back, like, hey, you got the buyer, and they're like, oh, well, now the buyer's gone, or yeah, the market conditions, all that. So, that's a big
Ask
red
that they
flag
put it
too.
in writing. Say, send that to me in writing so
Ah,
I can
yeah,
have something.
100%.
Even then, you get people that will send it to you in writing, it doesn't mean anything. Because some of these people, some of these places, like that place I was talking about with my roll story, they
Yeah.
literally changed names after I got involved,
Oh,
and they've
what?
recently opened up as under a different name, but it's all the
Oh,
same owner, same
jeez.
people, same all that. So
That is
yeah,
scum. This
yeah,
is like, oh, barely, yeah, just little things here and there and switch it up. Ah, it's not that. Different address, different PO box or some like physical
yeah,
address. Oh man, that's horrible. Yeah. But I mean that's what they pry on those moments. They're just looking for those little angles at any moment's notice. So there's
yeah,
always going to be someone out there trying to do that, and other people are actually looking out for the right reasons, or they get the shaft. They have to deal with it because it's like, well, the good guy is always wanting to help, and the bad guy looks like the good guy at first, but now the good guy actually has to deal with the bad guy in the previous past of what he's done. So I mean,
correct.
this is part of business, but yeah, it's I could see that being huge in this industry. A lot of pitfalls, but yeah, there's a lot of safeguards too. So that's good.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add on like some of those red flags before we go into Q&A?
No, I mean that's really it. Just people that are just too good to be true. That don't answer questions. Oh,
Yeah,
I'll send that to you later. All the information will be included. Uh, you know,
right.
just we all you'll feel it. You feel it that there's something off, but we don't want to believe it because we're looking for whatever it might be, returns, maybe loneliness, you want someone to talk to, things like that. And they just you just have to really be careful. And again, there are really good dealers out there. There are really good people, and most of the dealers like myself that I know, because I go to all the shows and everything, they've been in business for decades, or less. Like, I've only 15 years. Some of these people 40, 50 years. Great people. Like the industry, the good people in the industry are fantastic. It's those scumbags on the perimeter that can't get good coins. They can't. That's why they only sell rolls, Dustin, because they don't have access to the kinds of coins that we have at American Coin. They're not getting near that. So they rolls are easy, and that's why they only offer the rolls.
If yeah, I can see that. Yeah, they just don't have the either the capital or access. That's huge. That requires trust. It requires putting in your time. So can't just get that overnight.
Yeah, it's
That
not a
shows.
huge. There's not a huge industry. The people that are the players in this industry, we all know each other.
Right,
You
makes
know,
sense.
it's not a massive industry. There's not millions of dealers. There's only a few thousand probably that are you know second tier dealers like ourselves, and we all know each other. So kind of know you kind of get word of certain dealers or people that just popped up that closed this one shop. Now they're doing another, and no one will do business with them, and that's why they're forced to sell crap and rip people off.
Yeah, I can't escape that reputation. That goes a long way.
Yeah,
Um,
that's everything. Yeah.
I wanted to touch one thing just about our eBay, and then we'll get into our Q&A here. Yeah, guys, you gotta check us out on our eBay. We have a really high positive feedback. We got a lot of items sold, and we have a lot of inventory constantly changing. You can check us out at American Coin and Currency on eBay. We have some really good deals. Recent, some of the Palladium ones. The Palladium, where we have that. Is it? Let's do the recent newly listed. There we go. We got that West 100 Palladium Eagles. There's only 6,000 of these. So, yeah, definitely get in hold of us. We'll give you a good deal. And then we got some of the Sacagaweas still, but limited supply, of course. And then we had those high release sunflowers recently as well. But yeah, we have a lot of inventory constantly being updated. Things are coming and going, so definitely check us out. Reach us out directly on our contacts here. Give us a call directly or give us email unicoins@gmail.com, website coinandcurrency.net, and then follow us on all our socials: American Coin Currency, American CC, and Instagram, TikTok, eBay, all of it, Facebook. Um, okay, let's get into some of the questions here. We don't have a ton, but we have some here. Got some response. Excited to join today. Thank you. Let's grow joining us. Let's see here. Lost a lot on Morgan and Ben Franklin coins to a scammer, unfortunately, but definitely reach out if you're looking for some information just to keep you protected. Of course, you want to make sure that you make some good decisions in the future. We'll always keep a lookout for you. What was the worst scam that happened to you? Oof, jeez, that's a tough
Luckily,
one.
I haven't been scammed too much in my life, but a
Good.
few years ago during COVID, I was looking to buy a small outboard motor for. I guess this isn't coin related because I've never been scammed with coins except that one eBay thing. But
Right.
yeah, I was scammed on a boat motor. As soon as and it was I mean, I sent the wire overseas, and
Oh,
it all looked great. They had the website, they had comments, all that. But as soon as I sent that wire and went back, the website was down, and so that was my biggest scam. But that
oh,
cost me.
jeez.
It was about $6,500, so
Uh,
that's not too bad.
yeah, it's not too bad, but yeah, that's oof, that's tough. Um, this person's response: "You're the old coin buyer." I don't get that. But who was that? Believe, Viva.
Maybe he
Yeah,
meant
we
you're
get
the only coin buyer.
yeah, we get tons of comments from people that we make posts and be like, "I have coins," and like, what kind of coins? Like, you just have
Yeah.
some
I have
regular
coins. Are you interested?
circulated currency, that's worth the same as its face value. Like, you
Yeah.
can't determine. There's no value there. But yeah, if you guys have anything that's rare coins, or looking to grade them, for sure, just reach out to us. We're always helping those interested. You want to trade up, you want to sell us something, if you're looking for something specific, definitely get a hold of us. Um, all right, well, we're at the end of the show here. We touched on a lot of
Right.
safeguards and some pitfalls. And just to leave some closing remarks with everybody and let everybody know we're here 1 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. You can check us out on most major platforms. We're on eBay as well. We have a high rating, so you can definitely see that we have great feedback. You can check us out physically in West Palm. We have a Google review. We're wanting some more reviews from you guys, so feel free to join us and give us some good reviews. So we're reaching out to eBay people, but yeah, some closing remarks from your side, John. Let people know what's going on or what to look forward
Yeah,
to or
just, I'd
insights.
love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. We have a great team here. We can really help you out with all sorts of good things that are coin related. I mean, that we need. It all starts with a conversation, right? So reach out and let's see. And if there's nothing there, that's fine. But at least we talked, and there might be something there, and we might be able to help each other. So
Mm,
yeah, that's pretty much
no,
it.
for sure. Guys, remind everybody, join us every week as well as reach out. We are bringing on different guests. You can check out the previous guests. We have Rachel from the Entrust Group. We had Richard from the Shipwreck Treasure. And we're going to have some other guests coming in. I reached out to other people as well. So feel free to give us a call or reach out to us or emails, and we'll get you on. We'd like to hear some more insights and more um, more individuals that have more information around that, numismatic or shipwreck or anything in that sorts. But yeah, we'll wrap it up for today, guys. Appreciate everyone coming in and joining us, leaving comments, of course, and yeah, we just want to remind everyone to join us 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. And be sure to check out all our safeguards and those red flags that we gave you guys. So yeah, we'll see you on the next one. And buy smart, stay vigilant, and help others spot signs when it comes to collecting. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Have a great day.
See you on the flip side. Thank you for joining.
Joining.